sort me out. I have to wait until the 1 o'clock.
Tonight, the real victims of banking sector greed make their voices heard in a week in which 5 banks were dissolved by the central bank. We connect workers and customers of these defunct banks to banking sector officials and regulators to explore the unfolding banking sector crisis. We connect at the summary of the day's news.
And before we connect from the Joy Newsroom, here are the latest news headlines. National Security, in a special operation with the National Petroleum Authority, has arrested a fuel smuggling syndicate. The 13 suspects were picked up while transferring fuel from a ship into drums and gallons around the shores of Aplau in the Volta region. There is more in this report.
76 empty drums, 32 filled yellow gallons, that is 25 liters of diesel, and 20 empty containers were retrieved from them during the operation that lasted for about 5 hours. Investigations conducted revealed that the suspects used only text messages to communicate with the captain of the ship and are only able to identify the particular ship they are to approach to conduct their illegalities when lights in all other dock ships are off. The Eastern Naval Command has also arrested 4 people for siphoning fuel from canoe tankers to fuel tanker vehicles.
Over 8,000 cartons of Safi sardines valued at $243,750 meant for Burkina Faso have been diverted and sold in Ghana. The DAF truck picked the items from the Tema port. However, it was diverted and replaced with 700 bags of cement. The driver of the truck and his conductor have since absconded. Henry Anyemini is the Upper West Sector Commander of the Ghana Revenue Authority Customs Division.
My officer saw the vehicle with the documents. He suspected something. So he realized that the vehicle was looking so light, too light to contain that quantity. So in his curiosity, he peeped through the tailboard and realized that instead of sardine, the vehicle contained some quantity of GhanaConnect cement, approximately 700 bags of cement, and not even a single carton or tin of sardine as entered. It means the goods were diverted somewhere and then substituted with GhanaConnect cement. So it was escorted here on the 10th for us to do our investigations.
Henry Ayenimi is Upper West Sector Commander of the Ghana Revenue Authority Customs Division. NDC flag-bearer hopeful Sylvester Mensah has officially announced his intention to contest after the party gave the go-ahead for aspirants to campaign. Supporters of the various aspirants have been taking each other on to discredit the aspirant in a bid to garner support for their preferred candidate, prompting the party to allow campaigning to go ahead. In a letter addressed to the party's General Secretary, Mr. Mensah said he has come to the decision to contest following nationwide consultations. Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for Yoyo, Joseph Nabu, is calling on the leadership of Parliament to bring members to order after his refusal to endorse former President Mahama led to threats by his supporters.
The leadership will have to call all of us and tell us that if you are supporting Mahama, please have a decent campaign for him. If you are supporting Honorable Bagbin, have a decent campaign. If you are supporting Joshua Alabi, have a decent campaign. If you are supporting Sylvester Mensah, have a decent campaign. So all we, those who have declared our intent to support an individual candidate within the party, we should be called upon by the leadership of the parliament, because this problem started generating from the parliament, is it not it? So I hope the leadership will take action on it.
You heard Member of Parliament for Yoyo, Joseph Nabu. The General Legal Council has announced the notice of a supplementary exam for admission into Ghana Law School. This comes after complaints by students that questions for the 2018 entrance examinations were leaked. Neither the council nor the Independent Examination Committee has officially reacted to the concerns, except a notice in today's edition of the Daily Graphic. But some of the law students who spoke to Joy News insist that the entire exam must be rewritten. And that's it for the headlines. Before we connect with Evans, my name is Gifty Andopia.
Okay, Gracie, for the grand prize, answer this final question. Which of these electronic services does Bond offer for your convenience? A. Internet banking. B. Inward remittances. C. ATM services via GH Link. D. Mobile money services. E. All the above and more.
E. All the above and more.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner! For your convenience, Bond provides you with internet banking, inward remittances, ATM services via GH Link, and mobile money services. Bond is dedicated to providing you with all the banking solutions you require so you can attain your dreams. Bond gives you the appropriate financial services, investment products, and advice. Contact Bond on 0303-214-444 or visit Bond at www.bond.com.gh. Bond. Your success, our passion.
Don't come me. Hey, 10 pesos. 10 pesos. Vodafone is 10 years old and is giving you an anniversary gift of 10 times bonus and 10 pesos call rate across networks. Browse for 10 pesos per megabyte. Call Vodafone or any other network at the same rate of 10 pesos per minute. That's not all, oh. Share your scratch card with 2 more people the Kikimi style, and the 3 of you will each enjoy 10 times the value of your card. Dial *135# to subscribe. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Hey, Yinchi, I noticed that all the national stadia in Ghana have lasted for decades.
Oh, yes. But do you also know that the concrete bridges are also decades old?
Yes.
Only one company in Ghana can give you that guarantee, and that is Gasem.
Cement that guarantees smooth finishing of plastering.
That is the Gasem Super Rapid 32.5R. If you want to have strong blocks for any form of construction, use Gasem Super Strong 42.5R. For your time-tested bridges like the Adome, multi-story buildings, highways like the motorway, then it is Gasem Extra 42.5N.
And the good news is, all these cement products are made right here in Ghana.
Gasem, 3 cement grades, unique quality. Gasem, the nation builder.
Nationwide Medical Insurance, the leader in private health insurance, has deployed superior technology to make your healthcare experience more convenient and exciting. With the Nationwide mobile app, you can order your prescription drugs and we will deliver to your doorsteps. With over 600 dependable healthcare service providers, you're just a step away locating your service provider of choice and accessing hospital claim information in real time. Our corporate clients are guaranteed timely corporate utilization reports. We provide on-site clinics to give employees access to healthcare in the comfort of their offices. Enjoy these amazing benefits and so much more by signing on to Nationwide Medical Insurance today. Call us on toll-free number 0800-222222 or visit our website www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, don't worry, Grandpa. There are still 5 ripe and 15 unripe mangoes on the tree.
That's my boy.
Grandpa, it's still 1.2 kilograms of rice in the container.
My boy. And how much credit did I spend last week?
Well, you spent 5 CDs on calls, 2 megabytes on data, and you sent 5 SMSs.
We are the only network that tells you exactly what you have spent and when you spent it. Dial *545# to access your statement on MTN everywhere you go.
The Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's Back to School promotion is here with us again. From the 1st of August to the 30th of September, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stocks last. For more information, call us on 0302-764-101 or 0302-764-209 or email info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Kusipa, you're still listening to this budget reading. Share, Masa, say budget necessary. Now, what's the sabi? They say, Miss my personal budget. Ah, no, I am with dear would dream pension. Hey, wait there, 1 man, 1 pension plan. Oh, share, JJ, make what one home now. Sign up to my own pension plan with United Pension Trustees and gain access to higher interest, additional benefits such as savings account and flexible contributions. Wait there, pension, papa pow. Secure your future by signing on to my own pension from United Pension Trustees. Go to your MTN Momo menu by dialing *170#. Select option 9 for pensions and insurance. Then option 1 for my own pension. Then you select option 1 to enroll and follow the prompts. Make daily, weekly, and monthly contributions to build your wealth with United Pension Trustees. For further inquiries, call our customer service center on 0242 436 880 or 0302 208 042. My own pension. Pension Papa.
That is a sweet sound of excellence. That is the sound from Mac. Yes, Mac Ghana is the #1 distributor of the world's best quality Isuzu and Chevrolet vehicles in Ghana. Isuzu trucks from 1.5 tons to heavy-duty vehicles. Isuzu buses from 15 to 33 seaters, double and single cabin pickup, available in automatic and manual transmissions. We also stock a wide range of Chevy cars from SUVs, sedans, and small cars, fully loaded with exquisite specifications. All our range of vehicles stand out due to its high fuel efficiency, safety, luxury, spacious interior, world-class delivery, and after-sales servicing. What's more, we offer flexible payment terms to meet your pockets. Mark Ghana is a sole distributor for Isuzu trucks and pickups, as well as all range of Chevrolet cars in Ghana. Call us on 0302-813-919 in Accra or 0242-039-550 in Kumasi. Visit our website markghana.com. Mark Ghana, with you for the long run.
You are live on Joy 99.7 FM. This is GhanaConnect. My name is Evans Mensah. This week, Ghana's financial sector took another major hit.
The official administrator has found that the bank is beyond rehabilitation.
It's rather unfortunate, actually, that this news is popping out every now and then. Shareholders, related and connected parties had taken amounts totaling 3.7 billion cedis, which were neither granted through the normal credit delivery process nor reported as part of the bank's loan portfolio.
To take some money, but when I came, it shut up, and I don't know.
I only pray that it will be stable for me to continue.
Beige Bank and Construction Bank, both banks obtained their banking licenses under false pretenses, using suspicious and non-existent capital.
You know, you can't take money given to you, taxpayers' money, and give to your wife and children. It is wrong.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get any person to explain anything to me. No. If I didn't get any bank to sort me out, I have to wait until the 1 o'clock.
Altogether, shareholders, related and connected parties of Unibank are taking out an amount of 5.3 billion cedis, constituting 75% of total assets of the bank.
The governor has to prosecute those who are culpable.
We would, to the extent that we have appointed a receiver, we would expect that they would pursue any recovery that they can pursue within the court system.
There are certain players within the banking supervision departments of the Bank of Ghana who need to be examined.
Let me repeat that nobody would lose money in this exercise.
And the songwriter there says, money is blood. It's really the blood of this economy. If you take the banking sector away and something really drastic, tragic, catastrophic happens to all the banks, this economy will crash. That is the reason, the fundamental reason why we had the global economic crash sometime 2017, 2018. And it's the reason why this conversation is such an important one, since the news broke of the 5 banks going under. 7 indigenous banks and all in the last 1 year alone have gone under. So how do we restore confidence in the banking sector in the face of this unfolding crisis? Raymond Dankwa is a former worker of the Capital Bank and now speaks for a group of UT and Capital Bank workers who were affected by the collapse of the 2 banks last year. He himself lost his job in the wake of the crash. Hello, Raymond.
Hi.
Nice to talk to you. Also joining us very shortly is Fafa, an affected customer in this latest takeover or latest collapse of the bank of these 5 banks. We'll find out if she's happy to be a customer of the newly established consolidated bank. Also in the studio with us, of course, we'll connect and get his view on this. Tony Opona is the CEO of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. Of course, I'm wondering. I'm very curious to tap his brain on what has happened. Did they see this coming? Have they prescribed any solutions and have not been listened to? Tony, thank you very much for joining us here on GhanaConnect. Great. And of course, my colleague, Mr. Namfuri, is with me in the studio as well, helping me navigate these very complex technical areas of banking and finance. So once you're here, I'm safe. We'll connect to Canada very shortly and speak to a Ghanaian economist based there. He was involved in the credit crisis, in fact, trying to fix the credit crisis in New York, and has some notes to share with us. You want to join us here on GhanaConnect? This is how you can do so.
Join us now on Twitter, #GhanaConnect Live, Facebook, Joy 99.7 FM, or send us a WhatsApp on 0244 340 437, and we will call you back. Join the nation's biggest conversation now and connect to authority.
And don't forget the WhatsApp line. I want to hear from you on 0244 340 437, 0244 340 437. I want to hear from a lot of you, especially if you're affected by what we saw this week. Please get in touch. Roma, let me start with you. I mean, I'm wondering, you went through this, and for some, either by coincidence, what happened to your former bank happened in August last year. Did you notice the coincidence? It's almost a week to the day. In fact, it was the 14th of August.
Yes.
When your bank collapsed. Yes. Which bank was it?
Capital Bank.
Capital Bank. And then in August, 5 banks have gone under. When you heard the news, what emotions ran through you?
I was just trying to put myself in their shoes, because it's not been easy. Currently, we've lost 2 of our colleagues.
When you say lost, what do you mean?
They are dead.
Wow.
We buried one, I think, on the 14th of July, just last month.
And the other one, what happened? What happened to them?
Same scenario, facing hardship.
Hardship?
Seriously.
As in, because they lost their jobs,
yes,
they haven't been able to find one. Wow.
And as you know, our end of service package as agreed has still not been paid.
End of service package?
Yes.
Hasn't been paid?
For both UT and Capital Bank. And then, before the collapse, we have leaves that were supposed to be even converted into cash. That one too has not been done.
Describe for me in detail, when you say hardship, what is it? I mean, I want to appreciate how difficult it has been in the last 1 year, to the extent that two people, you say, your colleagues, have passed on because of that. How difficult has it been?
Working at this, all of the study, then you don't have any source of income coming in, where you have other responsibilities to take off. If you have a child, then you are paying school fees, rent, and other stuff. In fact, it's not been easy, because even though we were working, people were still finding it difficult to cope with the economy. And here's the case: you are no longer working. You don't have any source of income. How do you take care of your family? You understand me?
I get it.
Yes.
So that is what happened.
That's what happened.
You mentioned that you haven't. You are promised that you'll be paid your end of service benefits.
Well, not even a promise. There is a signed document to that effect.
Before you exited, was it part of the conditions when you were exiting?
It was part of the condition that it was supposed to be paid. So the payment schedule is out. That is supposed to have. The payment is supposed to have been done even before exiting.
It wasn't done.
It wasn't done because that makes the termination binding. Okay, if you are terminating an appointment of someone, or in this case, so if you are terminating the appointment of someone because the company has been taken over by another person, what you're supposed to do is, at the process of terminating, you're supposed to pay whatever is due the person, then makes it binding.
Have they explained to you why they haven't paid?
Okay,
it's been a year.
The issue now is when the GCB took over, and then this whole takeover thing happened. We had a consultation with Unicof, which they agreed to be our consultants. Now, it is becoming difficult for us to go to the receiver or any agency as individual bodies to deal with them, because we've given the mandate to Unicof to do that on our behalf. For some time now, we've been following up with the General Secretary of Unicof, that is Mr. Amagashi. Several messages have been sent to him, phone calls. He doesn't pick our calls. He doesn't even respond to our messages. So we ambushed him, that was last week, with some other person, and then some of the leaders. So we are about 4. We went there, and we had a meeting with him that we don't know what is happening. Some of our colleagues are going hardship. Every night we keep on receiving calls. What is happening to our money? At least somebody should tell us that, okay, we can pay you on these days. So that is what we even went there to. Even he could arrange a meeting between we and the receiver and the stakeholders, so that, yes, we'll know.
Remind us who the receiver is again.
Pricewaterhouse.
Okay.
So that we could know where things have gotten to. Because as it stands now, we don't have any information as to whether they've received some monies to pay us. And moreover, we asked for a discount, you see. And for that discount, we've not heard anything about it.
When you say ask for discount, you ask them to
we
say
ask discounts on our loans.
Okay.
Because they are doing that to that of the customers. Now
so some of the workers, of course, had taken loans from UT and Capital because they were there, and the interest rate is far lower. But you are still paying back that loan at the same interest?
No, we are not paying for now.
Okay. You're not paying
for now.
Okay.
But you see, staff with loans, you see, when you take a loan, it's for a duration. Now you've taken over the bank. What it means is the income that is coming from me is no longer coming. So it is the income that is supposed to
help you pay back the loan.
Pay back. Now, if you are saying that because the bank has collapsed, I need to pay that loan, which I've taken for 4 years, and it's not even after the 4 years.
Have they asked that from you? That because the bank collapsed?
That is what is happening. Okay. But they are not chasing us for the money.
Okay.
But if the end of service should be paid, they will use it to offset your loans. So trust me, it will come back to zero.
Okay. So that's what's happened.
That's what is happening now.
I see. In your personal case, you speak for them. You lost your job too.
Yes.
Have you found one?
Not yet.
You're so unemployed.
Yes.
It's been a year.
Yes.
You have a family?
Yes.
How are you surviving?
It's God. Seriously, it's not easy. Sometimes my colleagues will send me something because they know because of what we are doing. So they will just send me something to use it for fuel, and I use it to manage. It's not easy. I can tell you on the fact that even some of our friends have even switched their phones because they have other third-party loans. And the calls alone.
Chasing them for it?
Yes.
You have one of yours? You have a third-party loan yourself?
No.
Okay. So, how are you surviving? I mean, without income, how are you surviving?
Friends and family.
Friends and family. For a year?
A year.
It's your son?
I'm not the only person. I'm talking about 800 and 900 plus.
Almost 900 workers.
And you know, I could say few of them got job. I think 3 of our colleagues got job at Beach Capital. And see, it has happened again.
Oh, goodness.
They just started about 3 months ago.
And they've gone under again. Your son is still in school?
He's 7 months.
Oh, okay. Are you dreading? Because every father will dread.
As I'm speaking to you, my rent is due next month.
You have the money to pay?
No.
What's going to happen?
Well, we'll live to see.
Wow. This is the face of the problem we are talking about. You've had a lot of conversation this week from the Bank of Ghana, from politicians, from experts. Take all that off and listen to the real victims talk to you about what happened. And then you read from the bank. And let me ask you this before I go on the phone, because another victim of this is joining us. In fact, she is a customer of one of the 5 banks who just collapsed. And you read when the bank collapsed, your UTN Capital. You read
of August. Let me clarify something. You see, as we speak now, those of our colleagues that were even taken by GCB, they sacked some of them last week.
Some of your workers have just been sacked?
Yes, and none of them have been confirmed. Today was their last day for the probation. They've given another 6 months probation. Why?
So GCB, and just to recap what happened, when the 2 banks collapsed, the Bank of Ghana, this is a purchase and assumption, the Bank of Ghana took those banks' assets and liabilities and gave it to GCB to manage. So both banks became part of the GCB portfolio. You're saying that GCB employed some of your colleagues.
Some of our colleagues.
But last week, they fired them.
Yes.
And those who are still there, they've extended their probation. So they did 6 months probation.
Yes.
Expecting that when the 6 months
in totality, it will be 6. We've already done. We did the first 6 months when they took over.
Okay.
By taking over, what it then means is we are now staff of GCB. So after the final integration, they sack about, let's say, about 800, and I absorbed some of them, and they were given another probation for 6 months. The 6 months is ending today. Instead of giving them appointment letter, they gave them probation letter again.
They've extended the probation by another 6 months.
Another 6 months. Unless GCB is trying to say they are using another condition of service. Because for what I know, their condition of service is 6 months. And if there's a problem, or if there is, they will extend it by 3 months. So why another 6 months?
Okay. And that's something that we'll be checking with the GCB people, just to clarify what exactly is the case with these workers. I'll come back to you, Raymond, and of course I'll come back to you, Tony, because I see the look on your face, and I'll try to find out. I wanted to guess what the look says, but I'll find out what you think. But let me go to the phone lines. Let's connect to Fafa. Hello, Fafa.
Hello.
Hi, Fafa. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you too?
Oh, fantastic. And you are a customer of one of the 5 banks that went under this week, correct? From what I understand.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm a customer of Beige Capital.
Beige Capital.
Yes, please.
Okay. Was it a savings or you had an investment with them?
I had an investment with Beige Capital.
Okay. And where were you when you had the announcement that Beige Bank is no more and is now a consolidated bank, Ghana Limited?
Yeah, I was actually in the office when I heard the news all over on the media, yes, both print and electronic. So I got a little panic from the instant, and I quickly called my relationship officer to find out if whatever news I'm getting is actually true. And he actually confirmed that, yes, it's true. The bank has now been consolidated with other 4 banks, making it 5 in all.
Okay. And what about the investment you had there? Is it safe?
The first question I asked was, honestly, I was expecting a text message, at least an SMS from the bank to say, oh, this and this and this. But I understand, maybe because the news might come out as a surprise to them, so they may not be able to we reach out to customers instantly. And I took it upon myself to call my RO to find out if actually my fund is saved. And the confirmation I had from me, that wouldn't be the first time I had investment with them. So I was actually convinced that my investment is safe. And the good news is BOJ is part of it. As in, assigning KPMG to be part of it makes it a little confidence that, okay, each and every individual or customers or investors' funds are saved, yeah.
Okay. Have you been to the bank since it reopened to check, to make a withdrawal or to check if the amount is that? Well, what did you do? Did you actually move to the bank?
Actually, I had a plan of going to the banking hall, but looking at how the issue happened, I knew definitely there will be a queue in the banking hall. And seeing myself from the financial aspect or perspective, I know with BOG coming in, I'm a little secured. So I still have confidence in BOG that things are under control and our money is being saved, because it has been already published in everywhere that we should calm down, our money is saved, and we don't have issue with that. So I still have confidence in BOG.
How long have you been investing with Beige?
Over a year.
Did you see any signs? Did you see any signs they may be in trouble? You went there, maybe they say come back tomorrow for your money. Did you see any signs at all?
I haven't had any sign like that, because one, what actually even convinced us most was they were first microfinance and now moved to Beige Capital. So
Beige Bank.
Actually,
They became
for them to gain the license to operate as a bank alone shows that they have enough liquidity. So I was actually surprised they were part of these banks that got consolidated anyway.
And Fafa, so because they became a bank, and of course, once they become a bank, the Bank of Ghana would have certified that they have the capital to exist and operate. That is what, for you, gave you the additional confidence that your money, there's nothing wrong there.
Actually, so far as BOG, as Bank of Ghana, has actually taken over, this is not the first time something like this has happened. As earlier said, Unibank was a victim together with UT Bank, and then Capital Bank. Yes, these three were also consolidated, managed by KPMG.
Yes.
And so now that has been consolidated. So even if they are able to manage those customers, and some have to move because they don't want to be associated with GCB and blah blah blah, I think once BOG has taken over, I still have confidence that
in the bank.
Our money, yes, our money
safe.
is safe.
Let me ask you, when yesterday we heard for Beige Bank, your bank, when the Bank of Ghana announced that when they conducted an investigation, they found that they obtained their banking license under false pretenses through the use of suspicious and non-existent capital, which has resulted in a situation where their reported capital is inaccessible to them for their operations. And then the operations will include for operations such as handing over your money to you with the interest that you were expecting. When you hear that, how do you react as a customer of the bank?
Honestly, first of all, I blame BOG. I have to be frank and sincere here. I blame BOG because if they were able to do due diligence, honestly, it wouldn't have gone this far. They wouldn't have even issued the license at the first place. So, first of all, BOG needs to be blamed. And secondly, I still don't have to panic because agreement is an agreement. It's already on paper that this is how much I'm due per the agreement signed. So, I still have confidence I'm going to get my exact rate I use for the investment, and nothing is going to change that.
How much interest rate were they promising you when you first invested?
Actually, with the amount I did, it's 23% with Beige. 23%? Yes, please.
23% per annum or per month?
No, per annum.
Per annum. And okay. Nafuri, you wanted to ask a question?
Yes. We should be willing to tell us how much she invested.
Okay. Fafa?
Yes, dear.
Will you be willing to tell us how much you invested?
Okay, I have to disclose that one, sir.
Okay, no problem. We could let that slide.
Anyway. but I can't disclose.
No problem. No
But it's
problem.
huge, yeah.
No problem. Thank you, Fafa, for sharing that with us. So, what do you expect to happen now? You say you have confidence. I mean, you don't panic.
Yes, I have confidence.
Okay.
So I just want to tell the public that they should calm down. All customers with these 5 banks, they shouldn't panic. Once BOJ has assured the public that they're going to take charge of these 5 banks as it has been consolidated, I'll just play with the rest of the customers that I'm not a staff of BH, but I still have confidence in the banking system that once BOJ is part of it, everything is assured. So they should just cool down and they shouldn't rush in the banking hall and choke the banking hall. They should just operate normal.
So Namfuri wants to quickly explain something to you. Yes, Namfuri?
Okay, so what I'm saying is that if you are operating a bank and you are come to deposit, fixed deposit, time deposit, whatever it may be, there is a cap. So if they take your funds between 1,000 and maybe 2,000, and they give you a rate. Between 2 to 3, they give you a rate. 3 to 5. So the higher you go, the more you make on your money. That's how the banks operate. So if you go, for example, you're going to invest 2,000, 3,000 Ghana cedis. A bank operating in Ghana, commercial bank, will not give you a very high rate. Simple reason.
So in other words, the bank will not give you 23%.
Yeah, simple reason.
It has to be a huge amount to give you 23%.
Yes, that's right. Because when they take our funds, they are going to give it to somebody as a loan, and they might have to give it at a higher rate to make their spreads or their margins. And it's as simple as that.
Okay, so Fafa, there's another question that some have asked, that maybe some of the customers need to also take the blame. When you go to a bank and they give you a rate like that, maybe, as they say, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And so don't focus so much on the enticements and the huge percentages they quote to you, but look at something that is reasonable. And the word greed is sometimes introduced into this conversation. What would you say to that?
Yes, actually, anything that has high percentage is as risky as it is. Yeah, so, and if it actually goes into economics, you realize that as you go in for anything that is risky or any percentage that they quote for you, which is above CB rate, is actually risky, which I'm very much aware of.
Okay, so you accepted the risk.
Of course, successful people are risk takers.
I get it. So then the argument then is, now the bank has collapsed. The government is going to take a loan of 5.67 billion to try and help the Beige Capital pay you the amount you invested. The argument is, and what that means is that myself, Namfuri, Tony, everybody also has to contribute to that 5 billion. Meanwhile, you've taken a risk expecting, knowing that it can go bust, and it has gone bust, and so you have to walk away with nothing, and so that I won't have to bear that cost.
Working away, it will not count.
Good to hear that. Fafa, thank you very much for connecting. It's good to hear those thoughts from you. But Tony, let me come to you, the Chartered Institute of Bankers. What do you make of this? I want you to comment on what Fafa just said there. There's a sense that greed is part of the problem, that customers like Fafa and others should take part of the blame, that government shouldn't run quickly to go and borrow so that myself and you will pay for Fafa, who knew the risk. She just said, I knew the risk, I knew I could lose it, I took the risk, and still we'll have to pay for her.
Banking is based on the trusts and the confidence that the citizenry have in the system, financial system. Now, if you are saying that, the customers knew of the risk, and therefore, if the banks have gone bust, they should be left to their fate. I don't think the confidence that we are trying to build in the economy, the banks, the operation of the banks affect the totality of the economy. And so when the banks go bust, it affects all other sectors of the economy. And that is not what we want. And that is why government will make sure that the confidence that people have in the economy, in the banking sector, is maintained. And the government will then go and get the money and make sure that nobody suffers, so that the confidence that they have, that will also help grow the economy, would remain.
And just what we heard Raymond talk about, a year on
for workers, I mean, we just heard from the customer, but for a worker, he hasn't been paid the severance package, and the struggles he are still going through.
Yeah, that one, it's just administrative bureaucracy within the individual organization. That has nothing to do with the government per se or Bank of Ghana. I mean, if GCB is supposed to pay their terminal benefits, and they haven't done that, that is very different from saying that why the government will not go and get money and then pay them. That's purely administrative, and there's a procedure for that.
Okay.
So if there's any redress, I mean, there are other avenues that they can take to get a redress, why their monies are being delayed. I mean, he was saying that they have contracts and documentation that says that they're supposed to be paid X amount of money. I mean, they should invoke that documentation through their lawyers and get the pay. That has something to do with government.
Just to clarify what I said, it's not GCB that is supposed to pay us.
Okay.
It's actually government that is supposed to pay us.
That's the official, the appointed...
Yes, the receiver.
The receiver.
And the receiver was appointed by government.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the case.
Yes, that's the case.
Now, with all the hardship you just described for us, I mean, two of your colleagues passing on the wake of your own personal challenges. When you read that, and the Bank of Ghana statement last year detailed this, it's also repeated in what we saw with the 5 banks this time, that the directors of the bank that you worked for were giving themselves loans above the single obligor limit. Okay, they were not paying back these loans. They're taking the loans in huge amounts and giving to themselves. We've seen it repeated in the case of some of the banks that went under this. How do you react to that? Seeing that these directors are still alive today, we know some of them, they're walking about, they haven't been prosecuted, the charges haven't been prepared against them, and you, the customer, you, the worker, probably didn't know much about what was happening, are bearing the brunt of this. So how do you react to that?
My first reaction was still, I think it still points to BOG.
Okay.
Because you see, for my department, and I know to other departments, we do submit reports to BOG.
Okay.
So if I've submitted...
Which department did you work in?
I was with the, digital banking. I was then the deputy manager.
Okay.
So if we send a report to you, okay, I think you are supposed to verify what we've sent to you. And every transaction that happens in the bank is supposed to be recorded. So what happens to the financial statement that is being published by the banks? And what we know is, I know they always come to the bank to do some works over there. So what were they doing?
Were these reports that you guys were filing to the BOG accurate?
Yes, very accurate.
And did
it was very accurate, but it's left with them to verify.
Did it highlight the problems?
For what we are saying, for my department, you need to send transaction reports.
Okay.
The number of transactions
that happened,
number of cards that you've issued, the risks, if there's be any chargeback. Okay.
So the BOG,
so similar reports is being sent by other departments. So risk can also send probably maybe bad loans or the other thing. And these are reports that goes to BOG on monthly basis.
Yeah. So you're saying that if they were tracking this and verifying, they should have seen this early and acted.
Yes.
Okay.
So Tony, how come now the new governor was able to detect this?
Tony, what would you say to this?
Well, we admit to some extent that there were some infractions committed, by Bank of Ghana inspection, but that does not take away the fact that what is going on is the right thing that the Bank of Ghana is doing to be able to sanitize the system. We all agree that. They may have also, like she said, overlooked certain things along the line. But that does not take away the fact that we needed to sanitize the system. And that's exactly what we are doing. And we are in full support.
At the Chartered Institute of Bankers, did you see this coming?
Oh, yes. We knew that some of the banks had challenges. And that is the more reason why last year the governor came out with an increase in the capital. The whole idea of them beefing up their capital was to give them the kind of resilience that will enable them to be able to, do bigger business and be more sustainable. So to that extent, yes, we knew that the banks were not all that strong enough
Yeah.
to be able to stand on their feet.
And the Bank of Ghana also knew, because an assessment was done, I think in 2015, 2016, that clearly indicated which banks were struggling.
Yeah.
Now, the question was, at the Institute of Chartered Bankers, what role do you play in trying to help these banks and some of your members deal with the challenges once they notice?
Yeah, we offer capacity building training. So in the areas that we found that our staff or our members are lacking training to be able to do their work and do it well, we go in, we intervene.
So when you read that there was blatant, unprofessional, unethical, bad banking practices at the core of this problem, that could be an indictment on.
No. It couldn't be. It couldn't be, because it is not every bank staff that is a member of the institute. But that notwithstanding, all these things, if you look across, if there are any individuals involved, you will hardly get a professional banker caught up in this mess. So which means that those that have gone through our training, our ethics, our professionalism, they know what is required of them. And they also know that if they messed up, we can withdraw their license.
These banks, are any of these banks and people who run it members of your?
Well, not necessarily. Yes, we do have some of our members in some of these banks.
Yeah, why did they sit there for this to happen?
Yeah. Well, it depends on where you are and the kind of cloud that you have.
True.
Yeah.
Raymond, for example, could not be making these big decisions. But we are raising a very fundamental point, that those people who are running these banks and making these very fundamental, life-changing decisions may not be professionals.
No, exactly. In fact, they are not. Quite a number of them are.
But isn't that part of the problem we need to be fixing?
Exactly.
Because
and that is where we come in. We are telling them that going forward, we want to make sure that these banks resort to us, bring their staff for proper training so that they can go there and deliver and do the right thing.
Because the Bank of Ghana this week told us, and Amfuri, come here quickly, and I'll connect to Canada, told us that they have the authority to declare some of these individuals unfit and improper to do business within the banking sector. They have the power. So why haven't they done so? At least they haven't even touched on the individuals who did it to Capital and UT, right? They haven't declared any of them unfit to do business in the bank. They have a power, and I heard Madam Awaji say this, LC Awaji, Deputy Governor, say this, that they have the power to declare some of these individuals, ban them from doing any business in the banking sector. Even that little bit of action hasn't been taken.
Okay, what I wanted to quickly ask was that, do you think it's about time we start making bankers? In order for you to practice as a banker, you should have the chartered. You know how the accountants do this, the engineers do this. That's what the only thing is about time bankers are certified, especially departments like credit departments, because it seems a lot of the bad loans are coming from there. What analysis?
No, but I don't think what you're saying will apply, because the guys who are taking the loans are not ordinary guys. These are, as we've read, these are directors. Directors of the bank. If the director of the bank wants a loan, who is the credit officer to tell the guy that I won't give you?
Beyond that, there are normal lending practices, and we've seen it before. Non-performing loans up. Last banking report, non-performing loans were up. Just that the rate of growth had slowed. Who is sitting in the credit risk department approving these loans? In some banks, quickly, foreign banks especially, when you apply for a loan, the reason why people complain about them is that when you apply for it in Ghana here, it goes through a whole process and goes to, for example, Nigeria, for them to approve, to make sure that you are really doing the right thing before the loan is approved. And you can ask them here, they would allude to this. So should we start?
In the case of Unibank, for example, it says altogether shareholders, related and connected parties of Unibank, connected parties, had taken out an amount of 5.3 billion, constitutes 75%. I'm saying these connected individuals, if they go to that guy you are talking about at the bank, credit guy, the guy has no power to say, I won't give the loan.
Evans, that is where the governance comes inside. That's why they keep on referring to
no matter how qualified that credit guy is,
yes, the governance
it cannot turn down.
The credit officer can decline a loan, but then your top manager will just approve it.
That's the point I'm making to you. So even if Tony answers that question, and I'm pretty sure he will say, yes, let's have the qualified guys, the guy cannot stop the kind of problems that the Bank of Ghana is telling us.
So we need the
only the Bank of Ghana can do so, because they should know what is happening because of you file the thing to them. That will show that this guy has taken a loan above the single obligor limit, correct?
Yes.
And then you go in immediately. We are talking about proactiveness here, Tony. Let's hold on. Let me go to Canada. I'll come back to you, Namfuri, again. Hello, Mr. Akron.
Hello, how are you? Good evening to you and your listeners.
Yes, that's Ivan Akron is a financial consultant based in Canada. Of course, has written books about Ghana's banking industry. Had predicted this, I must say. What's your thoughts on what has happened this week?
Thank you very much once again. Give me, let me kind of lay some background to this. I mean, if you permit to be a little bit patient with me to kind of give a background and set the stage so that you...
Yes, if you can do it right, because of course we don't have... Yes, if you can lay it down briefly, I'll be very grateful. Go on.
Okay, that's fine. So let me paraphrase this whole problem this way. So you would have seen a report probably that, there was a gentleman who has knocked down, who has run through a red light and knocked down somebody and killed. Your initial impression will be, the gentleman, did the wrong thing. The gentleman did the bad thing. But what you don't know, and a police report didn't include, is the fact that this gentleman has crossed the red light 11 times, and the first time the police allowed him to go, and up to the 11th time the police, got him to go. So you don't have the full facts, okay? What am I trying to say? In the banking sector, for anything to go through, you need the four parties are involved here. The bank and its management, the shareholders, the regulator, Bank of Ghana, and the auditors. I think what people are not getting, and then what I feel very strongly about, is the fact that the media is discussing a report which gives only half of the story, which only talks about the role played by the bankers and the role played by the shareholders. You don't know the role played by, in my analogy initially, you don't know the role that the policeman played in killing the person. You don't know that. So I personally have looked at this critically, and my initial and my assessment is the fact that Parliament and the and government and Ministry of Finance should set up an independent committee or set up, let's say, a consultant to look into this from end to end. You see, this whole thing, Bank of Ghana is a bit conflicted in a sense that if you look, and I'll go through each of the banks one by one, and you realize that it's a total failure of, their part, and a total failure on the auditor's part. I will not hold breath for any of those people who, the bankers who did wrong. But if they were allowed to cross the red light 10 times, okay, then there's something wrong we need to establish here. You see, I think what you guys also are not realizing is that, you see, most of the things you're reading now about Unibank were things that were established by KPMG 4 months, into the distance. So the question you guys need to be asking is, what has happened to the banking examination of Unibank all these years? What happened to the auditors who issued the report? There's one auditor which runs through UT, Royal Bank, and Unibank. Okay, the press is not calling on these people. Okay, you see, when you talk about Surveying Bank or Construction Bank or Beach Bank, when they went for license, somebody signed off on the financial statement to BOG that the capital do exist. Okay, I'm not holding that for those directors who did the wrong thing. But we need to separate the issues here and kind of hold them responsible.
This is an all-round thing, and I see you pointing to people at the Bank of Ghana. It's
not an all-round thing. I don't think you guys, you need to apportion it equal responsibility, okay? And that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, but that is the point I'm making, the full circle.
Responsibility, I think, which you guys are not failing to discuss, is the role played by the auditors and the regulators in creating this mess. Okay, that is where the blame has to go to. Because if Surveying Bank, Beach Bank, and Construction Bank, and also some other bank, Besta, are able to go through the registration process and use means to get through it, I mean, you have to know there's an insider job.
Of
in the
course.
Akan language, they said that if in most robbery cases, you realize that 90% of the time it's somebody inside who is aiding the thief.
Yeah, and this week we've had calls that both the people at the Bank of Ghana who gave and signed off these licenses should be part of any prosecution, as much as those who run down the banks at any of these banks in terms of the directors, the managers, etc. Now, very quickly, going forward, towards the end of the year, we're going to see the new minimum capital come in. And some have pointed to this as well, the savior of the banking sector in essence. Do you think that is the case? And do you foresee us hearing of more banks in distress and being, dissolved, just as we've seen? Or do you think this 5 will be the last of the issues the banking sector has seen?
You can't be the investigator in this case. Let's say somebody, let's look at all the end-to-end process of what happened, and let's put where it should be, okay? Call a televised hearing by Parliament, put the directors online, ask them questions, put them, why did you approve this loan for yourself? Put them online, okay? It's about time we hold those people responsible. Unfortunately, in Ghana, I think we don't have Freedom of Information Act, so people are not obliged to give you guys anything. So we go back in circles. I was on your studio last year, when I was ushering my book, I talk about all these things. Okay, when you don't get the fundamentals right, you're going to have this problem.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That's Mr. Akron. Emmanuel Akron is a financial consultant based in Canada, of course, giving his views on what has happened in the banking sector. Let me share with you what you've been telling us on our WhatsApp and other social media platforms. Ernest?
So Michael from Takrade says, I'm surprised Fafa still has confidence in the BOG, the very regulator who sat down for all of these to happen. What credibility do they have? Evans, where is Alpha Capital? What has happened to their customers and their funds? I still vividly remember Monday morning, 14th August 2017.
That's when Capital and UT went
down. We're joking and playing politics with the banking sector. Felix says, sad times in the history of the country, but I'm surprised nobody is talking about the savings and loans institutions. What happened at Midlands recently is an indication of the liquidity crisis. And this one says, all of this while, let me take this one. Evans, this is serious than we think. Why is it that when the banks collapse, the Bank of Ghana takes care, lays off the workers instead of maintaining them? I pick an Uber and the other driver is a UT employer, as he was telling the story. This one says, Evans, BOG looks on when all of these happen, offer huge interest to their clients. Why is it that only the local banks offer huge interest? They're just taking advantage of the greed of unsuspecting.
When you go to the bank and they offer you a huge interest, please be wise. Not everything that glitters is gold. Yeah.
And this one says, I personally put the blame on the BOG for the unprofessional service. I think the officers in question who have monitored the operations of these banks be challenged in their professionalism and, of course, their credibility. This one says, please, what happens to those customers who purchase treasury bills through the collapsed banks?
Well, everything we have been told from the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited will be as normal. So your treasury bill, whatever it is still intact and safe.
This one says, it's a pity they are treating the ex-Capital Bank staff this way. It's really sad. Why does it seem government and our leaders are running from their responsibilities?
Thank you very much, Ernest. Tony, so what do you think the solution is to this crisis? What solutions will the institute prefer?
Well, the solution is that Bank of Ghana should go ahead and make sure that they complete the exercise of sanitizing the banking sector. I mean, this is good for the economy. The capitalization issue would go on. The remaining banks who are unable to meet, they will have to either downgrade or leave the system.
In other words, you move for a bank and become a savings and loans or microfinance.
Fine, if you can't make the 400. So this exercise should go. It's good for the country and it's good that it's coming. I mean, something that we know is been lacking on for a very long time. After this exercise, we get a very robust, very sustainable banking sector that will take the economy forward. Hopefully. So I think it's a good exercise that we must commend Bank of Ghana for doing.
Evans, I think from the regulatory angle, yes, they need to do more. There were arguments that they should separate the banking supervision department from the Bank of Ghana, as in like maybe a building on its
Make it
own,
an independent,
yes,
you know,
to run its business. But I think there are a lot of institutions, and then there's a lot of work to be done. So they need to step up or ramp up efforts there. From the bankers' side, yes, on their own, they should do some more training. They should understand the system. And I always say this thing about competition in the market, the cost of funds. Banks that have been here for 100 years, the stand charts and things, their cost of funds is way less as compared to a new bank coming into a squeeze market where most of the funds are lying in the informal sector. And it's up to the microfinance guys to do that. And you have some of them offering usurious rates to customers, 22%. By all means, if somebody offers such a high rate, he's going to lend to somebody at a higher rate.
Yeah, and the risk is higher.
Exactly. So bankers should also do this. And we, the customers, also, when we go out there, I mean, it's not everybody who understands finance or economics, but try and be abreast of some of the things. Look out for small things and take keen interest in the banking sector.
Raymond, so for you, I mean, I'm really interested in your welfare. What next?
Okay, so what we did so far, what we've done is we've petitioned the presidency. We've still not had any response. I think it's been 2 months or so. We've petitioned the presidency. We've still not had any response. And you see, in all these arguments, what the people forget to understand is the welfare of these staff.
Yeah.
Now you cannot build a bank without staff. So if you start treating people like this whenever there's a takeover or collapse, and you don't even think of the welfare, people will stop. People will not have interest in even working in the banking industry again. And trust me, that's what is even happening now.
Yeah.
Because for 1 year now, nobody has even called any of the leadership to find out, okay, how far with the progress in terms of even your leave outstanding that is supposed to be converted into cash. Nothing of that sort has been done. And even that, the receiver, you know, some people do have auto loans. Even if the car document will be given to you, because you know how much this guy is supposed to do, he or she could have sold the car,
and use
buy
it to
a lesser
survive.
car and survive. But the document, as we speak, are still with them.
I see. And you've heard this week that, and this was said at your time, that no worker will lose their job, etc.
I don't believe that. Okay. We were told the same thing, and a month later,
all of you lost your jobs.
Because even that, we were supposed to have gone under skills assessment for 6 months.
Yeah,
just after 1 month, they started sacking them.
I'm grateful, Raymond. I'm grateful, Tony, for coming. Always good to have you help hold my hand and walk me through Namfuri. And that's it for GhanaConnect tonight. The real faces of the problem is what you heard tonight. In the coming days, this will be interrogated in full. My name is Evans Mensah, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.